Hiya. I've done a few attempts at a video, but I don't like the way I've turned out sounding, so I'm making another one. I wanted to say, if you haven't watched Andre Bitar's channel or Andy B 5.0, go and watch it because they're quite good videos. It's quite interesting to watch. So yeah, what I wanted to talk about is people that are intentionally telling lies, uh, intentionally, not by mistake, not like they're reading about something and getting things wrong by accident, which is a complete mistake, which we all do, especially as TIs, because we get fed so much more false information than other people because we're trying to look up what's going on and what's happening to us all over the place, and we're trying to find ways of proving it and stuff. I just think the system's so well developed now that it's nearly impossible to get proof, especially when most of the stuff works on coincidences and street theatrics and stuff. You can take pictures. What's that going to do? You're taking a picture of someone looking at you. They could be looking at you because you've taken a picture. Someone might assume if you're showing pictures of people you're saying are your perps, and doesn't make that sort of make you as bad as them if you're randomly taking pictures in the street, because aren't you also sort of stalking other people that you might have got it wrong, that there could be a good chance that you've got it wrong, because we're not always right about the situations that happen, because coincidences do happen. This is why it works so well, especially when you're in a highly anxious state. You recognize coincidences more. But obviously, I've said this hundreds of times, but I like to go over it. If you're shown coincidences continuously and you're in an anxious state, it's going to maintain you being in that anxious, stressful state. So it's a vicious circle. But if you start filming random people and people you assume could be stalking you or whatever, or perpetrating, doesn't that just put you into the vicious circle of doing the same thing they're doing? Aren't you just starting to do what they've been doing to you? Doesn't that just then start making you as bad as them? In my opinion, I've got friends that are doing it who are TIs, and I'm like, what's the point? You're not going to be able to prove anything doing it that way. If someone's staring at you, people are going to assume, well, they're staring at you because you're taking a picture of them with your phone, or they could be just waiting to cross the road, or anything like that. So it doesn't make sense to do that. And also, these CIA agents that are supposedly telling people the truth about what's happening, or ex-CIA agents and stuff, they're not allowed. They signed the Official Secrecies Act, and they'd be subjected to be put in prison for the rest of their lives for breaking secrets. So whatever's told to you by these ex-CIA agents and stuff, they're going to be feeding you false truths, or some truth and some falseness, which the CIA or MI5 or any of the other organisations probably want them to feed you in the first place. Otherwise, they'd be in prison or dead, in my opinion. But I could be wrong about these things. I don't know. But I try and use discretion as much as possible. And there's lots of TIs out there that do, and they know, hold on, if I start doing this, doesn't make me as bad as them, and they're putting me into the vicious circle and turning someone that's targeted into someone that's perpetrating the crimes in the first place. And that's what I don't want to happen to me or any of my TI friends, but I've noticed it happening all over the place. So yeah, what I wanted to speak about was intentional liars anyway. People that are, it's like rumours have been spread, maybe about me and maybe about other TIs, that we're extremely gullible, so we're going to believe anything someone tells us, and then it's going to stay in our mind, and we're going to focus on that and believe it like that. I think that's what's being told about me. I think people have said this guy's extremely gullible. Tell him a lie, he'll believe it. I won't believe it, but I'll agree with what someone's saying. If someone says the world's a dodecahedron, I'll say, okay, yeah, okay, the world's a dodecahedron then. Because I'm not going to get into conflict when it comes to things like that. There's no point. It's a waste of my time. This is why I'm saying on video that I'm not as gullible as people think. And these people that assume that I'm extremely gullible must be 10 times more gullible than me to assume that I believe the lies that they're telling me, when I don't. I just don't bother arguing with it because it's a waste of my time. So I thought I'd put it on video so everyone can hear that's what I think about things, to save me writing in loads of individual messages. No, I don't believe that for a second. This is why I think that, and me having to present loads of evidence which isn't needed because it's a waste of time. What I want to do is get more people knowing that the system that's run is entrenched with corruption. That's all I want people to know. The other stuff I'm not going to focus on. The reason we're in such a mess in the first place is because people have believed lies year after year, time after time, and not used their own discretion. They've just followed what is being told to them, and everyone's following. And I think the reason a lot of people are targeted is because they don't follow the norm of things, and they question things more. Yet the trouble is, because we do that, we've come out of a box and they're trying to put us in a smaller box because of that reason. So it makes it very difficult. And I think so many unpaid people are involved just out of being told rumours about us, basically, them following silly rumours. I know we've been put on a list, all the true TIs out there. We're on some sort of list. And this list is probably accessed down the dark web or through the normal internet. And people are told rumours about us, then they'll befriend us or whatever, try and talk a load of bullshit to us and make the assumption that we believe it because we will go, yeah, okay. But really, it's a waste of our time in the first place. But unfortunately, some TIs do believe everything they're being told by alternative news networks and all that. None of it's all right. Nothing's 100% correct. I know that. I get things wrong all the time, but I can admit it and use my discretion and think, oh, well, that coincidental time, it could have been for this reason or it could have been for that reason. I'm not necessarily going to believe it. But I know for a fact a lot of the coincidences in my life have been manufactured on purpose. Could just be by one person, but using rumours, other people have been involved. It doesn't mean they're paid to do it. I think the system's been worked out so well now. They know how to manipulate anyone into all sorts of behaviour. And this is why we're in such a mess in the first place. Eventually, we'll probably have bloody scanners on the end of each road, metal detectors to check if we're carrying weapons and to scan our bloody facial recognition. Well, you got cameras doing all that sort of things anyway, but you know, it's like, are we already chipped? I wonder to myself, because I definitely get them shocks and spasms from somewhere, but maybe it's a neurotoxin because I haven't had the shocks and spasms in about a week, and I've been off drink and everything like that for about a week, and I'm wondering, how come they've gone away? Maybe it's because I haven't left the house for a considerable amount of time and there's been no chance of anyone getting it. There's hundreds of reasons for me to question, but I'm not going to stick by any of them. I'm not going to think, well, that's definitely the case, this is definitely the case, because I might be wrong. So I'm always going to question and try using as much discretion as possible. And I think some TIs just don't, and they're falling further down a hole, because they're getting nonsense told to them, and the nonsense stories that they're presented in such a way that they can ring true. Because I've seen a lot of stuff out there that makes you think, oh crikey, well, there's a chance. And then you think, no, come on, think about it a bit more. That's ridiculous. But they're so well at presenting these lies that they come across as truth to a lot of people. So my advice is like, use your discretion as much as possible. That's all I really wanted to say. They've started selling CBD oil now in England. Sorry, my hands are shaky. It's only the weak extracted stuff, but I've been putting about 12 things on my under my tongue every night, like droplets. And CBD cannabidiol has a very potent antipsychotic property to it, because the CBD used to work in conjunction with the THC until cannabis went underground for so long and in criminal hands. The CBD gradually was breeded out of most plants, so they were high in the psychoactive THC, which can cause psychosis or psychotic-like symptoms, without the CBD there to counteract it, which is an antipsychotic agent. So it's less relaxing now, more psychoactive on the brain, but nowhere near as good as it used to be. If it was all decriminalised, in my opinion, cannabis, they could allow us to grow it in our own homes, and we could grow high CBD strains or 50-50 and get relaxed, self-medicate ourselves, not be on the need for a load of Valium and stuff in order to relax us, because we have more stress than other people because we're kept in this stress state. I take pharmaceutical drugs still, anti-anxiety stuff and that. I came off antipsychotics a long time ago. I refused it because I was on the injection for quite some time, but for about a year, and it was doing me no good. I was I shake a lot anyway, but I was shaking like a madman. I had like tardigrade dyskinesia type symptoms in this wrist. It was like twitching about everywhere. Said all this in other videos, but I'll go over it. But if stuff like cannabis was either legal or decriminalised, and we were allowed to grow it in our own houses, it's a plant. We should be allowed to grow any plant we want in our own homes, in my opinion. It doesn't matter. Sorry, I had someone go past, put me off a little bit. Yeah, we should be allowed to grow any plant we want in our own homes. But people have their views that, oh no, it's criminal behaviour to do that. Well, it's making people psychotic now because it's being bred in such a way. More people are going nuts and they're needing it more and more. So if it was, it's been proven to stop people. CBD has been proven in high doses. That's only a really weak one. Has been proven to stop children having epileptic fits whilst being on all these mass amounts of pharmaceutical anti-epileptics, doing nothing to them. They're still having like a load of fits each day. Then you give them some CBD oil, the fits completely stop. It's been proven to, not in this country because we haven't done any research studies on it, but in plenty of other countries. So yeah, that's one of my opinions. I reckon it should be decriminalised, but a lot of people are gonna not dislike my opinions, but yeah, I think it would be very helpful to me, and I think it would be very helpful to a lot of other people. I was diagnosed with epilepsy years and years back. I was on anti-epileptics for 2 years. They did nothing, and then they said, well, we don't think it's epilepsy anymore. So I was on anti-epileptics for no reason, by the sounds of it. But it feels like I have complex partial seizures a lot of the time. They're like go from severe migraines to where I don't know what's going on. So they're the same symptoms of complex partial seizures of the frontal lobe. Right, I'll finish there because it's got to 14 minutes and I don't know how much memory's left on my phone. So thank you for watching and everybody take care. See you later.